Hey, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. Today, I would like to talk to you guys about my thoughts on Digital Foundry's opinion on the PS4 Pro on their weekly direct show that they have on YouTube. And you know how you do with your children, right? When they're trying to explain something or explain something to you, you know that they're going to have some inaccuracies about the event that happened or whatever, right? But you try not to jump in, and then next thing you know, it's like, man, I gotta correct them because this is not totally right. And I get that feeling from Digital Foundry sometimes. You know, they have their opinions and they are professionals. They do this thing full time, right? So, but I did want to give my thoughts because I didn't necessarily want to rebuttal anything that they said. But I just wrote down a couple of things that I wasn't necessarily in line with as far as their commentary and their opinion on the PS5 Pro. But before we get into all that, I'd like to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. I know that I have not been able to make a lot of these videos over time, but I did want to start making these videos again because I do believe that I make YouTube better when I give my opinion about certain things in this industry. So I do want to continue to contribute in that way, and so let's get into it. So Digital Foundry did their direct weekly, and the first topic was about the PlayStation 5 Pro, and one of the things that came up was the price. Now look, is it going to be expensive? Yes. But my opinion is this: if it's good, if it's going to be a notable difference in graphics quality like the PS4 Pro was, right, I do think there's some value there. Now I do get that, hey, I think the PS4 Pro up until 2020 has sold like 14 million, which isn't that bad. That's actually half of what the Xbox One sold. And the Xbox One X, so that's almost half of what Xbox sold last generation. But for the most part, you know, 14 million units is okay. It's not a unit that is going to sell a lot, but I think that for the most part, if you just have enough differential between the base unit and their Pro unit, I think that people will buy it. Especially nowadays, because listen, we buy phones that's over $1,000, we buy GPUs that's over $1,000 or that's close to $1,000 nowadays. I just find it hard to believe that the PS5 Pro won't sell because of price. Now I'm not saying that everybody can afford it, and if you can't afford it, I would advise you not to get it. I know I want it, I'm going to try to get it, but for the most part, I don't think that Sony should be looked down upon because they're going to sell it probably for $600 or $700. It's just the way prices are now. You know, since COVID, the shipments and the yields has been difficult, and people consistently coming to work in the manufacturing plants. That stuff is still happening, you know. Also, the parts is not necessarily devaluing because the yields are still slim to none, are still at like 50%, I think. And so the prices are not coming down because the technology is still difficult to produce. And so if you understand that, then people are going to be happy to get the PS5 Pro, especially if there's a significant difference. And it looked like they're coming out with a bunch of stuff. They talked about the upscale stuff that they have. I think it's called PSR or something like that. But they got an upscale graphic quality setting that they can add into the PlayStation 5 Pro. And I think it's all good. I think that having ability to display better graphics at 60 frames per second, I think gamers would love that, especially on the older titles that don't quite hit 60 or have a choppy 60 or whatnot. I just think that that's just an all good situation to get into as far as upgrading your console, and it's not necessarily going to compete with Xbox's next console or anything like that. It's just a way to be able to produce the best quality of graphics that a console can produce at this point. And I think Black Myth Wukong, I think that's an excellent example of a game that people be willing to buy PS5 Pro for so they can have better gameplay. Now, how much does all of that matter? When is the PS6 coming out? I'm not necessarily sure. I think that's the only real problem, because I think as soon as Sony come out with this console, the PS5 Pro, I think right after that, Microsoft is going to announce their next generation console. But I don't know, because let's just say Microsoft does come out with their next console, they're still going to have issues that they had on this console, is that it's difficult to optimize in DirectX. You don't have to do a lot of optimization on the PC because the PC has a lot of headroom. And so with that headroom, you can let a lot of stuff go. And so, but the console space, you don't have that headroom. You basically have to be able to optimize, and if what Microsoft need to do is not come out with another DirectX, because I think coming out with another DirectX right when the console is just a death knell. And so that's what Microsoft needs to do. They need to keep what they got. There's a lot of Unreal 5 engines games that have came out for the Xbox Series X, and I think that'll be good to have in their back pocket when the next Xbox come out. So I think if they're good with that and they retool DirectX or whatnot and not necessarily change it, or come out with another DirectX, I think that they'll be doing good. But yeah, I do think that Microsoft is going to come out with the next generation console as soon as Sony come out with the Pro. But with that being said, I think that the unit selling at $600, $700, to me, is not a big issue. Now, as far as the looks of the console and stuff is concerned, I'm not going to get into all of that. Is the PlayStation 5 a beautiful looking console? I think so. I think so. But I like, exotic things, as long as it's not like a bunch of colors in it and stuff like that. As long as it's just a white and black, or you can change the panels or however you want to do it. As long as it's like that, and you don't have to necessarily, tone down the color or whatnot because it's in these crazy exotic colors. I just think that the PS5 look of it, I think is going to do well. And so it looks like it's coming out pretty soon, so I'm somewhat excited for it. Even though I got a PC, I know it's not going to reach the level of PC. I think we're going to probably be on PS10 by the time it gets to 3090 Ti territory. But I don't really care about all that. Really, if I can play the game better on PlayStation, because honestly, I've been buying most of my games on PC. Like Black Myth Wukong, usually I would buy it for Sony, but in this situation, I'd rather buy it for PC because I know it's not going to necessarily have the best experience on console. But any type of first party release from Sony, I'll be willing to play it on the console. But I just think that Black Myth Wukong probably needs to be out for PC and the PS4 Pro. Now, when they come out with Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm definitely going to be playing it on the PS5 Pro if I can get one, because I'm not sure how many of those are yielding on anyway. So, but yeah, really, that's just about it. I knew they would probably come out with an upscale. You can reference my past videos for that. It seemed to have come true. But, tell me what y'all think about the PS5 Pro. Are y'all going to get one? I'm going to get one. I think there's a lot of games that are exclusive to consoles that I would like to play and not just wait for it to come out on PC. I like to, if it does come out for consoles only, then I like to be able to play it on the best console, which is probably going to be the PS5 Pro until they come out with the next Xbox. So as far as Digital Foundry is concerned, like a lot of their opinions, they're just opinions. I just don't think that, one, that is PS5 is necessarily the ugliest console ever. I think honestly that honor goes to the joystick of the 2700 Atari. So that controller and that console was ugly. That's all I want to say about it. I'm not going to keep you guys long. Appreciate you guys supporting the last video. Hopefully we get double the views we got on the last video. Hopefully you guys know that I'm coming back. I'm trying to get my bearings making these type of videos. But yeah, tell me what you think. I'm going to try to get some more gameplay up this week as well. This is Al from Transformational Gaming, and we done.